every single year in the NFL, one or two teams will just have their seasons ruined by injury. And there's never any way to predict which team it's going to be. And I do wonder if the Ravens season has been ruined. And if the final nails in that coffin were placed in yesterday's practice. Unimaginably, a team that lost basically all of their receivers to one injury or another early in training camp. Figured, all right, they're going to lean like crazy on this running game, then lost J.K. Dobbins in a preseason game. Yesterday, lost their great running back, the guy that you figured is going to pick up all the slack, Gus Edwards, and cornerback Marcus Peters, who's one of the best in the entire NFL, within a 5-minute span of each other to torn ACLs in practice. It's unimaginable what has happened to that team. And so I have two overriding thoughts that come from it. One is, if Lamar Jackson is able to elevate this team into the playoffs this year, despite all of this, then that really is a remarkable season. And anyone who questions whether he should be worthy of every penny he's going to wind up getting paid would just need to shut themselves up. The other thing is, because I have been giving a little thought to some fantasy, could Lamar Jackson lead the league in rushing this year? Is that possible? Like, they signed Latavius Murray. I saw that they might bring in, is it Devontae Freeman? Like, they're going to make some other moves. They will have people for him to hand the ball to. But they may now lean on him more than ever before without being able to throw it the way they wanted to. Mark Andrews might have himself a really big year, but everyone is going to take him away. The one thing a defense can't really take away is Lamar Jackson just flat beating people and running with the ball. So if he doesn't get just beaten to a pulp, I could easily see him rushing for like 1,200 or 1,300 yards this year.
Well, he rushed for 1,200 yards in his MVP winning
Let me
season.
say that again. I could see him rushing for 1,500 or 1,600 yards this year. He's got an extra game, and they need to do it.
Yes, it's going to look a lot like his offense in college, right? It has to. I would say he would be my pick to lead all of football this year in fantasy points because of what they're going to ask him to do. And I went back and checked this morning, Greeny, because of that point you made. There has never in the history of the NFL been a quarterback to lead the NFL in rushing in a season. I don't think it's that out of the question. And if he can get to 1,500 yards or somewhere thereabouts, he's got a shot at it. Right now, you can get those odds at 30-1 at Caesars, just in case you are inclined to lay a few shekels.
30-1 on Lamar to be the MVP or to lead the league in rushing?
To lead the league in rushing.
To lead the league in rushing. Look, I will grant that seems unlikely, but in a league where teams are increasingly running the football and teams are increasingly utilizing two backs when they run the football, like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and a lot of it, New England has a whole stable of running backs. When you look at the teams that figure to run the ball a lot, most of them have multiple backs. I think this is going to be the season of Lamar in Baltimore, which was not at all what I think they wanted it to be.
No, and this guy, when he runs the ball, averages 6.5 yards a clip. It's one of the highest averages in the history of the NFL. He's led the league in that statistic in each of the previous 2 seasons. So if it's not going to be Derrick Henry and it's not going to be Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis, I think this guy's our next best bet.
He's an interesting pick for DraftKings this week. They play the Raiders, which is a bad defense, on Monday Night Football. That feels like an interesting one. Lamar's going to be super expensive.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.